G'day guys, welcome back to Shane's Shed. In this episode I'm going to be replacing the CV boots in the front right. So let's get into it. So first thing we're going to do is going to get this wheel, jack it up, get this wheel off, and we're going to work on getting the CV joint out of the car, and we'll change the boots up on the bench. So we're just going to remove this half shaft nut. So there's a little tang there we just need to knock out, and we can remove the nut.
But hard as well.
So I just use this pin to knock that tab out. Right.
Did you make a hole?
No, it was already there, Logan. So to remove this nut, it's just a 32mm socket. If you don't have a rattle gun, do this when the wheel's on the ground, or get somebody in the cab to hold the brakes on.
Well, that was pretty loud, so yeah.
Hey, these guys are kind of in the way a little. Alright, now we just need to drive this half shaft back. I just use a brass drift and just whack it in normally enough. Half shaft out. I'm going to have to undo the lower control arm ball joint nut, and I'll probably just take off the steering tie rod as well. This will just help me swing the whole knuckle up out of the way and allow enough room for the half shaft to come out. So I just give these a bit of a whack with a hammer. Where's my ratchet, please? Thank you. Okay guys, just thought I'd throw this little bit in here. I've just realised while editing that the next two series of videos turned out to be time-lapse. There's probably about 15 minutes worth of video that end up compressed into like half a second. So yeah, I kind of stuffed up there big time. But essentially what you need to be doing is undoing the ball joint from the top control arm and swinging the whole knuckle out of the way to allow enough room to get the CV and half shaft all the way out. Also lever up the sway bar to get that to clear the CV as well. Hopefully all the video at this stage should be okay for the reverse when it all goes back in, so yeah, probably just check that bit out. Alright, back to it. So now that this half shaft's out, this is an ideal time to change the seal. I'd get kind of annoyed at myself if I whack all this back together and had this leaking again. So I'm just going to use a 2-inch socket, just as a bit of a guide, and see what I can do. I know I'm sort of working underneath with kind of blind, so it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's not the easiest thing to make sure it's flush, just due to the positioning. I'm pretty happy with that there now, so let's move on to the CV boot. Alright, so got the new boots ready to go. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to get these old boots off. Just protect this end of the shaft. There's some needle roller bearings run along this section here, and into your seal area here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these straps off the CV boots. Now, doing these can get quite messy just because of all the molly grease. It's also a good idea just to keep a lot of dust and whatnot, dirt, away from these. So just give it a reasonable clean up before we start pulling them apart, because I will end up throwing some new grease into each of these joints. So we just don't want to be introducing anything new in there that's not supposed to be in there. I found needle nose pliers generally tend to work okay for this. You can use side cutters as well. I found just to break some of these smaller ones. Now this inner joint generally can just slide straight out. Right, and what we'll do, we'll clean this this inner up, and we'll remove this section, and then everything can come out off this side. So you should be able to see this little circlip there, so I'm just going to pull that off. So my circlip pliers are a little bit big, so what I might be able to do, there is a little bit of a slot here. Now just get the screwdriver in and lever them out. So I just use a punch in here that's small enough not to whack all the your CV components. Just tap it out. Yeah, mate. Alright, so we'll give all this a clean out, and we'll start putting the new boots together. So I didn't film this bit while I was cleaning, but this end of the shaft just goes in here. There's a little C-clip, I guess you call it, that holds everything on. So I just basically hold this in the vise and use my punch just on either side of the inner part of the CV just to knock it out. So I'm now just going to disassemble this part of the CV and give it all a good clean out. Now this inner star looks like it's starting to get towards the end of its useful life there. You can see it's just wearing out. Not all right. It's not evenly all the way around. It's just a couple that are showing it. So I guess this one's probably going to Probably starting to click soon. I mean, it's not making any noise at the moment, amazingly. So yeah, we'll just run it for now, and when it lets go, or when it needs replacing, we'll replace it later on down the track. So got everything all cleaned up, stripped all this, put it back together. I was having a little bit of an issue trying to get all those balls back in. It can be a real pain sometimes. I end up having the central star in backwards once I got everything in, and yeah, figured that out. So and basically this had locked up. So yeah, fun and games. But anyway, we'll fill it with grease. Now I end up throwing most of this grease in the bottom of here when I started. That was a bit of a mistake. Should have done it once when I was finished, but anyway, it is what it is. So that's all right. It's only a molly grease in here, so I've got plenty of that. I can throw some more of this in. So just make sure we get plenty of grease all inside the CV joint. So shaft just goes in. We need to make sure that C-clip seats in properly. Well, now it's started, should be able to just, there you go, just tap it in until that circlip grabs, and that's it there. Now I'm just going to clean up this outside. I'm about to put a new boot over this. Pack a bit more of the molly grease around here. Slide that boot down and try and avoid making too much of a mess. And once we're satisfied that's sitting in place, and we get a band on it. Now I just use these fencing pliers just to squeeze this section up. That's tight enough, it's not going to move. Right, and obviously before we go sticking that star back on here, we need to get this boot on, and probably not a bad idea to throw the band on as well. So that outer ring will sit in that groove there. Alright, so now we can get star back on. So we'll just hammer this onto the spline. Now this particular one can only go on one way. If you try and put it on the other way, it will not go on far enough to get your circlip back on. Just make sure your circlip is sitting in correctly, and then we can throw some grease in this part of the boot and work it all together. So I've just chucked a bunch of that grease in here. Just going to slide this back in place. I'll probably just end up throwing a bit more grease in there, I think. It's not really looking like it's enough. Right, as per the other side. Now, this end has big allowances for the shape of this CV half, so we just need to throw that in and slide it on. So as you can see, got rags strewn everywhere from this job. Obviously, same deal again from the other side. There we go, and there's the job done, apart from a quick little wipe up, but we'll get ready, we'll throw this back in the car. Alright, so just before we put this half shaft in, doesn't hurt to just throw a bit of gear oil on your new oil seal. This will just help lubricate it during the initial startup. So when throwing in the your CV and half shaft back in, when going in through this oil seal, just try and keep this as straight as possible, and just keep it off the oil seal as much as you can. I know it's not always easy, but if you're not dragging off on that seal, then it's all prolong the life of it a little. Here's the bit where we just need to push this in to get it to seat on the circlip or the C-clip that's inside the diff. Sometimes just a push straight on the end of that half shaft like that will get it to seat. Or just alright, so just once you're under that, just make sure that's in properly. Make sure it sits in nice and flush where it's supposed to. Not too sure how good the light is on there, but you can see that that CV is sitting in where it's supposed to. Now I always throw a little bit of anti-seize on this spline here, and also on the CV thread. It just makes things come out a little bit easier. That'll do. Get rid of that. I'll just untie this, which you notice I've done that. And now, matter of pushing that back in. That's in. So I'll just use the jack to bring that knuckle up to the top arm, and we can get the nut on. Now quite often these will, a tapered shaft will spin, so also get the right size by socket ring. Need to hold it just enough to nip it up. Now I'm just going to nip that up onto the taper. I'm going to back it off now because I'm just going to put a bit of anti-seize on that thread. Right, so both these nuts are 70 millimeters, Okay, so all I've really got left to do now is this half shaft nut. Now, this used to be, from the documents I got, used to be 350 Newton meters, but it's since been revised to 230, so it's a fair bit less. So got a new nut to go on. Now I'll probably have to drop the car down on all four wheels to get this torqued up properly. I'll see how I'll go with it on here. Alright, so all I've got left is just to stake this little slot. Same deal when we pull apart. And that just helps against that not spinning. So I'm going to finish this episode up here, guys. I'm just going to throw the wheel on. You know, it's all sort of stuff you've seen me do before on this channel, so I won't bore you with those details. Hopefully this video has been of some help for you, as always. You know, if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. Hopefully I'll see you again on the next one. Cheers, guys.